welcome back. This is one of our specials. We've been doing them consistently, or at least once a month, and that's our hometown RC heroes. And I've got a great one tonight. It's multifaceted why he's a hero to the hobby and to many in his area. Would you please welcome Tim Metallo? Tim, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dave. Just honored to be here.
Yeah, no, it's fun, man. We've bumped into each other, a couple times. Came out and raced at your track, and I literally sat back in my seat and just looked around, and I was like, "This is something special." I go to a lot of tracks all over around the country, and sure, I see a lot of fellowship, I see a lot of laughter, I see a lot of people working together, all the things, but there's just something different at Kenosha RC, and I kind of want to unpack that. But at first, everybody's going to be curious of who you are and like how you got into the hobby. So give us the background.
Sure. So my name is Tim Metallo. I am 56 years old, born and raised in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And I am very blessed. And the title of your segment is fantastic for this part of this, because I am really paying homage to my hero, which really is my dad, and God love my mom. She's a saint up in heaven. I know it because she raised three boys and my dad was the fourth boy. And he loved hobbies and he loved cars. And what better way to keep his three boys out of trouble than to keep them into some type of interest with cars? And we were real young and probably some self-serving for my dad. He wanted somebody to race with. So eventually, as we grew a little bit older, each one of us got a radio control car. And what a blessing in life, because not only did we have my dad as a mentor with that, but each one of us boys are at least 2 years apart in age, and we always had a buddy to race with. And, ever since we were little, our family had the mantra that families that race together stay together. And it's always that common ground. And it was always sort of that safe place where you could kind of hash out your differences as brothers, as family, as community. It was just that safe place. And my dad was such a role model for that, because his background was he was the public relations safety officer for the Kenosha County Sheriff's Department.
Oh, wow.
So to have that community connection, mom and dad were actually both first responders. Mom was a nurse, dad was a cop. That whole quintessential, they lived their life serving their community. So you always kind of had that in the background, that it wasn't, this is something nice to do. No, this was something that we were expected to do. Either it was through church or through community outreach, through either one of my parents' jobs. You were a member of your community. And that really built the idea that your community is what you put into it. And don't just stand back and spectate life, be involved in it. Mm-hmm. And that's really what led to, okay, you're going to be a hobbyist, have your RC car, go outside, play with it, and we were lifelong sports nuts too. So we were either on a soccer field, a baseball field, or in between time we would go race our RC cars anywhere and everywhere we could. And that's really what kicked off the passion, Dave.
That's it all makes sense now. Of when I said Kenosha RC is different, it's because it's a community event. I mean, you walk in there and you look around and you see who's there, and you see the age groups, and you see the respect, and you just see people. You walk in, and like that day I went, I had a real tough thing going on, and couldn't share with anybody. And when I came through those doors, I just went, okay, let's go have some fun.
It's wonderful.
And so thank you for that. Thank you for providing that. I really needed it. And but yeah, that's what struck me. And that's why I brought that up earlier, is that it's just something different. And now it makes sense, because you grew up in a family that you serve your community. And that's exactly what you're doing at Kenosha RC. You are serving that community. So now I'm glad. I'm equally glad we're having this conversation, because now it all makes sense.
My dad did the first RC car race down here as a Sheriff's Department public relations event. And he's like,
Hmm.
it's something that he's enthusiastic about. We've been involved in Wilmot Speedway for years with the full-size cars. And he's
Okay.
like, you know what? I kind of want to do a little mini Wilmot Raceway here in town, and I'm going to do it through the sheriff's department. And, we'll do a whole 200 people showed up for that, Dave. And that
You're
was in
kidding me.
1988.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that was the first time that I saw community come out with that common background of we are racers and racers will race anything, scale, speed, doesn't matter. A racer is a racer. And to see the young people come out and say, this doesn't intimidate me. This is something that's fun, either as a toy or a hobbyist, that it's me, little Timmy, at 8 years old, racing
Yeah.
against, 50-year-old Dave,
Right. Right.
and we are on a level playing field.
Well, you're much too kind, buddy. Thank you for calling me 50-year-old Dave.
Yes.
You got to add 12 years to that, but 50 would be wonderful. I remember
Well,
50. I remember
yeah,
that.
nice, nice. If I look that good at 62, I'm doing good. So God bless you for that.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. So yeah. So what kind of RC cars was your dad into? And what dirt? Was it dirt oval? Was it like what was it?
We were really we were lucky. We lived across from a huge field in the middle of town. So we were raised county kids in the middle of the city.
Okay.
And we had our Tamiya, basher cars, or when the frog and the
Nice.
grasshopper first came out, and the pumpkin versions of the big RC trucks, and when the monster trucks, started to roll out. We had every early adopter version of whatever kind of the basher style vehicles were. And I remember I was probably 15 years old and I got my first RC10.
Okay.
And, my dad explaining to me that, what, this isn't the same plastic chassis, no suspension, this is more of a racing vehicle. And it's probably not going to be as good for you to go bash as let's go find you some
Yeah.
structured racing to do. And that first race was up in Menominee Falls. And I remember it leaving such an impression that wow, this is the same vibe and feel we get at the real racetrack, Milwaukee Mile, Slinger, Hales Corners when it was around, but it's a scaled down, and here I am holding the wheel. And it was just so fun and it was so infectious that I'm like, you know what? I want to be part of this.
Okay. So that's where your RC racing got going. But somewhere along the line, and I don't know how long ago, so you got to give us the whole history of Kenosha RC and if that was actually your first jaunt into promoting racing. But when did you get the promoting bug?
I got the promoting bug when I was racing in it was like a club racing series at Gary's Hobby Center in Racine. There was a special night that was a kind of an invitation only night that they wanted guys who were really serious about competitive racing. And I got invited to that. And
Hmm.
it's funny you bring up some of the old school names because the first car I remember racing was a Harry Gant lookalike car. And the
Nice.
old guys laughing at me like, what are you racing a green car for? Green
Yeah.
cars are bad luck. I'm like, I don't know. I'm too young to know better. So I'm just going to race my green car. And I did quite well. I was so thrilled with it. But what we ran into was you don't always have somebody that can do race control. And
Mm-hmm.
back in those days, it was manually scoring on a keyboard. I
Mm-hmm.
remember dragging out
Mm-hmm.
of the back room. So I was really super lucky because I had two passions, computers and RC cars. And the two really lent itself to when you showed up on race day, this as a race organizer as much as I do, you don't always have that person that's willing or can do race control.
Right.
So here I'm this 16-year-old kid that I have a Commodore computer at home. I'm like, oh, you just need somebody to punch keys on this computer? Sure. You got to go use the bathroom or, you need to go get dinner, whatever. I'll run the computer. And that slowly built a rapport with the guy who was the actual race control, who worked for the hobby shop. And then every once in a while, I get a call. Hey, Tim, are you racing tonight? Because ironically, the other guy's name was Tim. He couldn't make it. So he's like, hey, do you mind racing and doing race control at the same time? I'm like, sure, why not? You're too young to know different that it should
Right.
bother
Right.
you, right? Or be nervous about it. So you're like, yeah, whatever. And that really from like 16, 17 years old, Dave, I started having that interest of, hey, you need a backup with race control. Just let me know. I don't mind. Again, going back to that roots of my parents planting in us, be
Yes.
involved in what you're doing. And it's such a different experience when you show up and you're part of what's happening. And that just kind of easily just migrated into my path in the RC world. Is I love racing. I'm as competitive as anybody. Ask anybody that's been on the front end of my bumper, but the people and the culture and the organization equally fascinating to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So much so. Yeah. So where does so explain to everybody, and I'll throw up some pictures up here while you're explaining it, but give
Mhm.
them a feeling of what Kenosha RC is.
Yes. So Kenosha RC, our main mission, the main pillar that our business model is built on is community involvement. And that is everybody from your novice who has never touched an RC unit in their life to the pro racer who wants to come kind of strut their stuff and show everybody why they're a pro. And the whole idea how I run my evening is it's built around fun, it's built around learning, and it's built around mentoring. My real clock punching job I had for the last 32 years was I was an IT manager for two school districts for the state of Wisconsin. So I got to see firsthand every day the impact on technology and student learning
Hmm.
and help put in the robotics labs and help put in the programming and architecture and 3D printing labs to see all of that all involved in RC car racing, the engineering involved in RC car racing. We love to talk about Wisconsin natives and what Alan Kowicki did to NASCAR, outthinking all the good old boys. That to me is fascinating. And when you get somebody whose mind clicks like that, that they're okay, I'm turning a wheel and this car's running good, and I want to pick up a tenth. And if I turn this screw over here on the right front wheel, what does this do? Those people who want to think their way through chassis setup and the engineering and physics, that is a whole new game to those people.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing I really love, and I want to dig into, because I have a real passion for novice racing and novice racers, because, like you said, they're just making their entry into the hobby, and we know after all these years what it's provided to us and what a blessing it can be. And so I don't know, I really gravitate to them, and so you have a really special novice class. Maybe you can explain that.
Yeah, yeah. So we run the low Z NASCAR because of the flexibility on the speed adjustments, the durability of the car, and just the ease of driving that all-wheel drive car. So we dedicate a low Z NASCAR rookie class to any new racers. The entire thing is built around my racer development program because as we go through races and you get up to a competitive race, so you're passionate about competitive racing. A competitive racer who has somebody who's new to racing loses patience for that person who doesn't know race etiquette, that person who doesn't know how important it is to hold your line or that you have to slow down to go fast, that have earned those rookie stripes. So one of the things I want to do is to help develop those rookie racers' confidence because it all starts with, can I do this? Can I tell myself I belong here and I can do this? And more times than not, I try to assign a race mentor to one of our rookie racers. Parents don't always understand or even want to understand what RC car racing is all about. But that parent that took the time to buy their kid a car and bring their kid to the races, that's the hardest buy-in for people to find value in that investment. So, us as a club, us as a community, we're going to co invest in those youth, saying, hey, it is important for this to be a great experience for this young person. If you have a chance to be a life coach, if you have a chance to pass on the passion of what you do to one of those young people that walks in that door, my main mission when that person goes out the door, if I could give them all a survey on the way, did you have a good time? It all
Hmm.
starts with fun. I used to coach youth academy premier soccer. And I always told the kids when they would start getting frustrated or start, not having a good time, and say, okay, guys, remember, the more fun you have, the better you play. And the better you play, the more fun you have. And I said, if
Exactly.
you guys keep reminding yourself that when you come off the track and your car didn't handle well, remember, this is for fun. Let's talk to somebody and say, hey, man, my car is pushing like a snowplow. How do I fix that? And just work through that as a community. And all of a sudden, it's more about the fun than the competition, which then leads to good racing. And it's really just about having a good time.
Yeah, and the one thing I really love about it is that you motivate racers, other racers that have the low C cars that are racing in higher divisions. You're like, knock it down to 50% and go out there with those kids. Show them the run line, show them the race line, race them.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
pat, go up to the inside, try them on the outside, give them all that experience. And that was really something to see that night because you got some really good novice racers because of
yeah,
that. I think
yes,
because kids are competitive, whether it's a video game, they don't want the other kid or another adult to beat them on a video game. And so I think kids of this generation really take to RC racing. If they give it a chance, they really take to it because the one thing that they master is the controller, right? They've grown up with a controller in their hand, or they've grown
yes,
up with a phone in their hand, and their hand-eye coordination is probably 10 times, 100 times more than us old jokers, right?
yeah,
And if they could just master that, which I've seen kids currently mastering that way earlier than, like, say, back in the 90s, or probably
yes,
by mid 90s is when video games started coming in. So you started seeing the kids go, oh, okay, we're not going to spend a whole day teaching them how to use a radio like we would back in the 80s and
yes,
90s, right? They got that down pat. Like their eye coordination is on point. So now, yeah, it's racecraft, and then that's what's nice when you bring the more matured racer, and as you said, as mentors, and they actually go out there and race with them. And there was one guy that was out there, and we talked during the novice race because he had won like the heat race, and then in the novice race he finished like second, behind one of the novice. And I said, "Did you give him that one?" He goes, "No, I was running at 50%. I was
yes,
trying to use arrow to my advantage. I was trying to slingshot him." He's like, he just kept running great laps. He did not want me to beat him, and he did it the right way. He didn't chop me off. He didn't spin me out. I'd get around him, and he'd just keep the pressure on and keep the pressure on. And he goes, and at 50%, he drove great, and his car was set up right. And yeah, no, he goes, he flat out beat me because he goes, I was hoping I could get to him. Well, then I'm like, oh, that's cool. Well, then he goes out, and I think he won the A that night. I'm like, man, that guy was good enough to win the A
nice.
feature. But when he backed it down and he ran with the novice, he taught that novice racer how to relax. Because I heard him talking. He's like, just
Yes,
run, just run, just run. Because I think he was having a good time too. He's like, this is like a real race. Like we are really strategizing. So, yeah, you've built something there in that particular segment of the night that's amazing. I mean, and we could go on and on. We could dissect every class you have there. And again, it makes all sense to me now because, like you said, like community is the pillar, and having fun is the pillar, and just every single class was very competitive, but everybody left shaking hands, laughing, having a good
yes,
time, and you didn't see any cutthroat racing. It was all everybody respects what the character of that evening is, and you could see that you could just see it run through their head, like, yeah, I'm not going to make that stupid move because that's not the spirit of Kenosha RC.
yes, yes.
So
Yeah, and those are actually why I decided to do an oval track and a carpet oval track at that. Is the skill set for racing oval is not as technical as some of the real high-end road courses or off-road courses. I've raced all different types of tracks all over the country, and what you find out is some tracks are so technical, even those of us who do it on a regular basis struggle to drive the track, let alone have a competitive race. So when I started, really leaning on some mentors about how do I actually launch this and what do I need, my one thing that I was firm on is this has to be an easy to drive oval. If we're developing racers from a young age, you can teach them pretty quickly go fast, turn left.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Mm-hmm.
keep in your line, just aim right down the middle of your track barriers, keep it in the middle of the track as best you can. And really, that's the whole goal is to keep it so simple. Confidence grows fast, and now you're working on the racecraft.
Yeah, absolutely. And one piece I like there too is like there's a lot of female racers at all
Yes.
different ages, and the day you mark down this conversation, the day is going to come when there is going to be a really good female racer, and I can't wait. There's some that are Everdesian, and some of them right now, uh, Kaylee Bryson, they're there. But this
Hmm.
next generation, and if you talk to anybody up in NASCAR, Junior, all those guys, they all RC raced.
Yes.
They still RC race. They enjoy racing, and I think there's gonna be a really good Midwest racer who's gonna say, yeah, I used to run RC cars at Kenosha RC, because I think for a lot of us, it's the only level of racing we're gonna get to, right?
Sure.
So that we can afford, and we can spend the time, and we can enjoy, the mechanical side of the cars. But these generations are like, okay, I understand the mechanics of racing. I've learned driver etiquette, and I realize that there's a lot more to oval than I thought, right?
Hmm.
But they're going to go, but I'm good at it. So why couldn't I apply this to a real car?
Yes.
And I saw some of the young ladies that are racing there, and they're racers. Like, they are there to race.
Yes.
They're not all they're there to race. I don't care what class they were in. I got beat. I got beat by several females that night, and I
Yes.
loved it because I want to see that. I want to see where uh, it's not even that she was a female. Just she's a driver.
Yes.
You know, but yet you still want to support the cause for people, for young ladies and female racers to get the chance, right? To be treated as an equal and have the same opportunity all the way through their racing career. But
Yeah.
there's a similar thing between a lot of racers, and that is RC racing. So, anyways, that was another super cool thing that I saw when I was there, and I'm going to get back there soon. My season is done, except for road shows and
Sure.
a couple races I'm going to run myself. But yeah, my weeks are freeing up a little bit now that the
Nice.
nationals are over.
Well, and I'll tell you, just like I tell everybody else, I always have house cars there. So one
Hmm.
thing I always wanted Kenosha RC to be is affordable. Working for state school districts, there is an equity and equality issue that just runs through the entire world, and we just don't know what we don't know because, we are sheltered from a lot of that. But I want people to be able to show up with nothing, not a piece of equipment, not a dime in their pocket. I have a car for you. You're going to have the same opportunity as everyone else. And we are not going to let money or resources ever be an excuse not to get to race. And on any given race night, Dave, I probably give out a third of our racer fees for free
Hmm.
because it is that important to have that community together and to give people an opportunity they wouldn't ever have. Like you said earlier, we'll probably never sit in the seat of a real NASCAR and go racing like our heroes do on Sunday, right? But
Right.
if we can give that opportunity to some young person that may not ever have the chance, or one crowd that's really, really gaining strength, and it just makes me so proud because I have three daughters, is the daughters of our local racers are showing up to say, hey, my dad does this in a real car. I want to see what this is like. And I want to feel
Right.
that competitive race and go fender to fender, door to door. And those proud dads that, like you said, their daughters aren't just out there driving around. They are competitive as their parents are. And it may flip that switch where dad says, hey, you want to try my car someday?
Right,
And now
right.
the next generation on the track. And it is just so wonderful to see those opportunities.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's somebody's going to come out of there, and because they walk out of there with confidence that, hey, oval, I can do it. I'm good at it. I want to
Yeah.
do this at a higher level. I want to feel what it feels like in the car. I want to feel that, in the seat, feel going around the corners and the G forces and all that. And they're going to come out of there because, like I said, they're not there to, dad's making me race and then I'm going to go hang out with my friends. No, they're
Yes.
like doing tires, and I saw them in there changing out tires and working on springs. And I mean, they've got they're in their zone, man. And when
Yes.
they're out there racing, so it was just so awesome to see. Now I'm sure, is all of us that promote, we can't do it alone. So I'm
Right.
sure there's some people you want to shout out to that are there, because I know putting up that track is not a 10-minute job.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I am so blessed to have like a small army of people who are regularly with me, and there's no way I do this without my brother Kevin Metallo's help. There is no way,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
he's the facilities guy. Whenever I need some access to facility or I need some access to a big space, he is my guy with that. And he's also a real race car driver, and has
Right.
his own kids that are RC car drivers. So we share that passion together, and which is wonderful. So no way do I do this without my brother Kevin's help. And then some of the guys that I've raced with for decades, my friend Mike, who everybody knows as Pickle, he's kind of become his own celebrity around here lately.
He has. Yes, he has.
Without Pickle's help, without Bill's help, without Doug or Jason, or even, Arlo or Damon, I could go on and on the number of people, the entire Kreiser family. So there's a whole family of racers that race out at Wilmot, and they are busy wrenching on cars all the time. The entire family, first, second cousins, all come race with us. And half those women that you saw race are either their girlfriends, wives, or sisters. So when you have a family takeover like that and you get that family support, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
And one thing that makes us a little bit unique, and it goes back to that community outreach, is we will bring our track to you. So
Hmm.
my friends in my core team, and they kind of laugh at me because I get a little bit obnoxious about this every once in a while, is they know I'm going to pop up a race anywhere I can. So like the city of Kenosha wants some outside race events. The sports and events planner said, hey, you're doing something we don't have in Kenosha. So, where do we go race by you? I said, well, you can come race by us at Nash Elementary indoor, but that's not all we do. Our track is completely portable where we can race anytime, anywhere. We have our own
Hmm.
generator, we have our own lights, we have our own scoring systems, we have our own barriers. So anybody that's listening that was, well, hey, we want to do an event associated around cars or racing or whatever, Kenosha RC, completely portable.
Nice. Yeah. No, I'm excited for that because, yeah, those are some events I want to go to, because you guys are basically running on, asphalt, right? Like most of, like
Yes.
parking lot racing. That's
Yep.
our roots. That's our
Yes.
roots. All through the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. That's what we did. We put on shows in communities with 110 scale pan cars. And so that, to get back out in parking lot racing is near and dear to my heart. So, uh, love to do that. Love to talk to you about a couple of things with that too when we're done here with the show.
Yeah.
But
One
yeah,
shameless
just
plug for me then for one of our events we have coming up May 9th.
hmm.
We
Hmm.
have our first outdoor racing event, and we're kicking it off in a big way at Nash Elementary. May 9th, 1 o'clock, we're having our Race into Summer event. And it's going
Nice.
to be a real race car show. It's going to be motorcycles, hot rods. We're going to have food trucks. And then the showcase is going to be our racing academy, so our rookie racers. And then it lends itself into our first actual outside race event that afternoon. So it's going to be an entire afternoon of community building. It's meant to be an outside spectacle. It's in a neighborhood where everybody's welcome. And if you show up, just be careful. I might hand you your controller and say, here, try it. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's just how it goes.
Yeah, and don't go, oh yeah, sure, he hands out some cars. No, he handed me out his brand new, beautiful Losi Sprint car. And I was proud to say that I went to the front and I was
Yes, you
leading
did.
the race. And with 3 laps to go, I ran out of talent and I destroyed that thing. And I still owe you that. I still owe you for that, buddy.
No, no,
I
this is worth it.
No, but it was super fun. So he is a man of his word, trust me, because those
Thank you.
cars are not inexpensive. And yeah, it was super fun though.
I'm
Well,
glad.
it lasted. Well,
Yes.
till I goofed up. It was my GPS. My GPS went out. I didn't know if I was supposed to go left or right. That's what I blame it on. No, just a super fun place. I'm so excited for what you guys are going to do in the summer. So people are going to be listening to this and going, "That's what I've been looking for. That's what I need. I want to go somewhere where it doesn't feel ultra competitive before I even get there." A lot of people get a lot of false ideas of that.
Sure.
Going to a track, they build it up to be bigger than it is, and if they would just go, even if they just go watch one time at any racing facility, RC racing place, they'll go, "Oh yeah, okay. No, these people are nice. This is a good place. I feel comfortable here." But that is tenfold when you go to Kenosha RC because I know how you are. It's like if you're not having fun, I need to know. Like
Yes.
I come to me, let me know exactly what's going. I saw it for myself.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I appreciate that opportunity. I appreciate the opportunity to kind of tell our story and what we're
Yeah,
about. Because our whole thing, Dave, is that we want to be a little bit different. We want to be family oriented. We want to be fun. And when everybody leaves that night, we're like, "Dog, that was super fun." Because
yeah,
what happens? They come back.
yeah, yeah. And like I said, I'm not joking. You and I had not really, we had never talked. We
Mm-mm.
texted a little bit, or on Facebook and stuff. I knew about the track. I lived in Caledonia, and I could just never get over there. It took me to move to Fox Point to go. Oh, I need to go to, I need to go to Kenosha RC.
Of course.
Craziest thing ever. I'm like 20 minutes away, and now I'm 45 minutes away, and I'm like, I'm going. So we never talked about it. I didn't even really tell you I was coming because I didn't want to think I was. So and like I said, when I walked in the door, twofold. It was very important that something was going on with me health wise, and to just be able to escape from that for that evening, it hit me at the door. As soon as I opened up that gym door, I was like, wow, this is gonna be something. And it
That's
was. We had a
fantastic.
great time. And that was with knowing nothing about it. I
That's
didn't
awesome.
even know the address until like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So
Yes.
and one of the coolest things, if there's car guys on here and you're going, oh, Nash Elementary, that's kind of a cool name. I remember the old Nash car. There's one in the library.
Yes.
There's an
Full car.
actual Nash sitting in the library. Not that you could go in there and look at it, but you can see it through the window. And oh man, I just thought that was the coolest thing. I definitely want to stop there one day and actually see that car up close.
Yeah, and that's wonderful because we have insider access. So if you need, you can get in there and take pictures. And because you're fantastic at promoting, and I think the energy around what you do, it's such a blessing that you guys kind of surprise showed us up because it really kind of caught me off guard. Like, Dave's here and Joe's here and their whole gang. George is here.
Hey,
Well,
nothing.
it adds a little bit of legitimacy to okay. Now these are guys who are promoting their way through making our sport grow and they take the time to come down to show up as a group and it was like a takeover, and I love that because everybody I race with is familiar with you guys in your group and not only your racing but your promotions and your media, and it was like this is such a blessing for Kenosha RC that somebody outside of our circle can give us testimony and say, hey, they're not just blowing smoke, we actually had a good time.
Oh, we had a great time. We had a great time. And yeah, we'll continue to tell that story from our side. But what's even more refreshing now is now we're all family, right?
Yes.
It's not my part, your part. Like we all know each other and we all know we're in it for the same things. And so it's just, RCU Radio is an extension of Kenosha RC. Kenosha
Yes.
RC is an extension of RCU Radio. So yeah, we're gonna do a lot of fun stuff. We're gonna do a lot of fun stuff together. I respect you highly as just a person take away the RC, just who you are, and now learning about you. That's what like Hometown RC Heroes is all about. Like we learn about people, and you know, first I knew of you, then I got the chance to meet you, then we got a chance to work together at the Foam Nationals, and yeah, now I feel very, very blessed that we have a friendship. So yeah, let's just do a lot of fun stuff for this hobby. And it sounds like what you're building again around the community and throughout the community is really going to be exciting. So if people want to get people are listening to this going, okay, how do I learn out more? What's the website? Is there a Facebook page? Is there this? So give everybody the info because they're going to want it.
Yes. So yes to all the above. We are on Facebook. If you look up Kenosha RC, both the group and my business account, Kenosha RC is on Facebook, Instagram as well. And I also have the KenoshaRC.com website, which I stay up on very regularly. So the schedule on there is current, the rules are current, the photos of our weekly race winners are all current. And this is really kind of my full-time job. When I retired from the state, I'm like, I have the means and the time to dedicate to this to try to do it right. And outreach and being involved in other when Pickle and I came up to your Foam Nationals last year, and we did that whole we're just gonna go spectate because we don't know, we don't want to be imposter syndrome, right? And when we get up there and like, oh my gosh, they're just like us. This is just a fun group of people just like we are. And we vowed that next time that, whatever Kenosha RC has going on that day, we're going to cancel our event and be part of Dave's event. And that's the collaboration part. And that's how we grow bigger through numbers and collaboration. And it was like meeting old friends,
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's the same vibe that continues, and that's really what's helping us grow together and have these conversations happen. It's like, dude, I have known you my whole life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we're RC fam, and when we're all in the hobby together, we all kind of know each other because we understand the kind of person that is in this hobby. So, there could be a little one-offs here of somebody's personality, but for 90%, we're like. Yeah. I know you're like me because I'm like you, and we have to be doing this, right? And then you add the second level layer, which is you're a promoter, and that's what I am at heart. I love the race, but honestly, I haven't raced much in my whole time. I've been the guy who puts the show on and tries to get people excited because just like you, we need to do a genealogy. Maybe we are related. I don't know, but
yeah. You're much taller than I am, so if I miss
okay.
that gene somewhere, I'm going to be so disappointed.
Yeah, and I'm follically challenged, so I mean, you got to.
Perfect.
So you beat me there, but yeah, it's just and hey, anybody who's listening, here's the thing: we could say it over and over and over. Get there, make sure you participate, but you got to check out their website because they just launched some amazing merch. Mm-hmm. I don't know who did that for you, but that is some great stuff. I mean, the colors and the layout is amazing. So to any of our listeners that are even listening out of the state of Wisconsin, you say, man, I'd love to go there. Maybe I will fly there one day. Our buddies in Colorado and all over New Mexico and all these different tracks and stuff that we're involved with. Buy a T-shirt, man. Just you heard what this is all about. It's about community. It's about getting novice racers, getting new people into the hobby, and it takes a little bit of change to do that, And he don't have to tell me. I know where part of the funding is coming. I know how this game works.
Yes,
so I know where some of the funding's coming. I ain't gonna ask you. Buy a shirt, man. Buy a hoodie. Because you'll wear it. It's not like you're just going to do it for a donation. Like, you're going to wear it. Like, I can't wait to go get mine. So,
awesome.
And then when those events are happening in the Kenosha area, if you are anywhere in this state, I mean, how long is it going to take to drive to one of those? You'll know it way ahead of it. Come. Again, we can talk about it. You need to see it for yourself. But don't do what Tim did last year at the Foam Nationals. Bring your RC cars.
Yes, come to race.
Bring them the first time.
Yes.
Because it's you're going to have a great time. You're going to do some great racing and meet some great people. And I want to see it. I want to have you on a road show. So anybody listen, you come out and you come up to me and you say, hey, you said on that show that if I came and saw you, you'd talk to me on the air. It's set. I don't care if that's 100 people. We're set to do it. And we're going to do some cool stuff, too, because I'm all about giveaways, and I'm all about thanking the racers for coming when we ask you to come. And so, we're going to do some cool stuff. We're going to give away some cool stuff because I'm like fired up about Kenosha RC. So, cool. Anything that we missed, Tim?
No, just keep an eye out for those future dates. Anybody who's watching this, just to give a shameful plug to Kenosha, Wisconsin itself. It's a beautiful city right on the lakefront, southeast Wisconsin. We are actually the last town in southeast Wisconsin before you get to the Illinois border. It's a hidden little gem area. We're going to do a lot of outside asphalt racing in conjunction with other city events. The city of Kenosha is really, really promoting radio control car racing, and you need accommodations to stay. You need any other type of special accommodations. We are all for making that happen. We love our city, we love our sport, and we really, really appreciate the time today, Dave.
Yeah, and if you go to the marketplace off the pier, lights out. So
yes,
bring your wife, bring your girlfriend. I mean, bring your wife and your girlfriend. I don't know how that works out, but go to the marketplace because my wife Wendy and I have gone there many times. Kenosha is just a very clean, very fun, very activity driven, focused community. So Tim, I can't thank you enough. This is actually exceeded my expectations of what we talk about. It was so fun to learn your background, learn your connection with your dad that actually hits home.
yes.
And just your love for the hobby, man. We need people like you. So just thank you.
Well, I thank you for the time, and all you racers out there, keep racing. You just keep racing. That's my words.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us for this this segment of Hometown RC Heroes. We'll be back with a regular show. There's been stuff going on, Foam Nationals and other stuff. So we've kind of TJ and I have been away from the mics for a couple of weeks, but we're chomping at the bit to get going. Take this to the end of the season, which goes all the way through the end of May. And just thank you for joining us. I don't have to thank you for listening to this episode, though, because I know you enjoyed it and you probably wished it was longer. Well, we're going to be doing more with Tim. We're going to be doing more with Kenosha RC. So there's going to be more to this story to follow. So thanks again, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you for listening to another great podcast on the RCU Radio channel. Please like, subscribe, and tell your friends to join the channel for more RC content. RCU Radio. We cover it all.